There you go, man. Try's the best one.
Bro, stop, man. Hey, push shot. That's it. Bro. Push shot.
Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. You ever watch that fight? That's my favorite Mike Tyson fight, cause that was Mike Tyson before he won the title. It was a BC-wide World of Sports, and Joe Frazier had been talking about Tyson, that if he was in his prime he beat Tyson, and so he had his son fight Tyson, and it was an execution. Is that the one in Atlantic City where it lasted one round? Let's watch it, because it's one of my favorite fights to watch Tyson, because it's Tyson in his prime where he was terrifying. He was so fast and he would do angles, and he was bobbing and weaving. You couldn't hit him and he was just coming at you. We know that Joe Rogan has often expressed his admiration for Mike Tyson, particularly during his prime years in the late 1980s, although Joe Frazier and Tyson never actually fought. Rogan frequently highlights Tyson's unmatched brutality and rage throughout his
When I lost my fight to Buster Douglas, I started getting paid more, because now was the chance that I could be beaten. I was getting paid more money because people couldn't bet on me.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility you get beat.
Rogan often recalls how Tyson was a terrible force in the ring, able to take down everyone in his way. In 1986, at the age of 20, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion. I contend that Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson who defeated Trevor Berbick, is the true winner of the title because of his explosive style and power, which made him one of the most fearsome boxers of his period. Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. He simply couldn't keep up that form, and Buster Douglas prevailed in the end. What did you see that was better than this is a question I pose to myself when I observe combatants at their peak. Even Ali didn't resemble Mike Tyson when he was Cassius Clay. All Mike Tyson needed to do was close the gap. I maintain that he's the greatest. I respond. I think that Mike Tyson is the greatest heavyweight ever. It seemed like everyone he met in the ring was close to passing away. Even in his late 50s, Mike Tyson, who was born on June 30th, 1966, is still a formidable.
Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. You ever watch that fight?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Mike Tyson fight, because that was Mike Tyson before he won the title. It was ABC Wide World of Sports, and Joe Frazier had been talking about Tyson, that if he was in his prime, he'd beat Tyson. And so he had his son fight Tyson, and it was an execution. It was an execution.
Is that the one in Atlantic City where it lasted one round?
One round. Hey, let's watch it, because it's one of my favorite fights to watch Tyson, because it's Tyson in his prime where he was terrifying. He was so fast, and he would do angles, and he was bobbing and weaving. You couldn't hit him, and he was just coming
The high-profile battle against Roy Jones Jr. in November 2020, among other recent exhibition matches, demonstrated that Tyson still possesses a lot of the speed, power, and ferocity that shaped his career. After 37 years, you kind of felt like it was all over when Tyson performed, especially at the age of 54, as many pointed out. He moved and hit with a remarkable amount of force for his age. You are aware, yes, he has lost some, but not everything. If you see him hit those pads, you will realize that he has not lost everything. Despite his losses, he has come back to his best self and is now perhaps simply normal. He's still not normal, but he's still like a professional heavyweight boxer. He's still terrifying. No, I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just saying
he couldn't be stopped. No one had the solution. And I submit that Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson that won the title against Trevor Berbick, the Mike Tyson that beat Larry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him. It just, he didn't maintain that form, and he wound up losing to Buster Douglas. And you know, I look at fighters when they're in their absolute prime, like what have you ever seen that was better than this? And with Mike Tyson, I've never seen anybody better. I've never seen any fighter, even Ali in his prime, even Ali when he was Cassius Clay. I never saw anybody who looked like Mike Tyson in his prime. It just puts him away. It's an execution. It was just a matter of Mike Tyson closing the distance. This Mike Tyson, as fast as he was, as hard as he hits, I maintain he's the greatest.
Yeah.
The greatest heavyweight ever. Like that Mike Tyson, those fights were, you wanted to see executions. You didn't think anybody was going to beat him. Everybody he fought looked like they were about to die.
And even coming off the best, I still think he wins you coming off. It's hard to say because you never bet on against a 27-year-old fighting. A 58-year-old get just what I have in my brain and I can't get out is that like Mike Tyson's mind has switched over into war, like he was doing this interview, and someone said to him, he goes, you look like you're in your 20s, like what are you doing? He goes, I just eat raw meat. I eating raw meat. He goes, you're eating raw meat. He goes, yeah, I'm eating raw meat. He goes, because that's what I'm going to eat when I fight. I'm going to eat him. It's raw meat. Yeah. See, I was like, Jesus Christ, he's in this mode. He's in that God of War mode. And that he still got that in him. And I'm telling you, if you keep giving that guy hormones and you keep giving that guy supplements and you keep, and he's constantly training his Mike Tyson's friend and former boxer Joe often talks about his early sparring sessions with Tyson. Tyson began sparring when he was in his teens under the guidance.
Feel like he's lost some, but
he hasn't lost everything. He hasn't lost everything.
Yeah.
If you see him hit those pads,
absolutely,
he has not lost everything.
But he's lost some, but coming from the best, he's now like maybe just normal, right?
He's still not normal, but he's still like a professional heavyweight boxer. He's still terrifying.
No, I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just saying even coming off the best, I still think he wins. Coming off.
It's hard to say because you never bet against a 27-year-old
no, I get it.
Fighting a 58-year-old.
What I have in my brain and I can't get out is that.
Like Mike Tyson's mind has switched over into war. Like he was doing this interview and someone said to him, he goes, you look like you're in your 20s. Like, what are you doing? He goes, I just eat raw meat. He's like, I'm eating raw meat. He goes, you're eating raw meat? He goes, yeah, I'm eating raw meat. He goes, because that's what I'm going to eat when I fight. I'm going to eat him. It's raw meat.
Yeah. See,
I was like, Jesus Christ. He's in this mode. He's in that God of War mode. And that he's still got that in him. And I'm telling you, if you keep giving that guy hormones and you keep giving that guy supplements and he's constantly...
Of well-known trainer Q's D'Amato. By the time he was 17, he was an experienced fighter who worked on his skills by practicing against opponents at the professional level. According to Egan, Tyson showed unusual strength and ferocity even as a youngster, which made him a formidable sparring partner. But Mike's speed in the ring with his shirt off made me feel at ease, and his figure, especially his biceps and chest, was incredible. That's not the same 17-year-old lad I met yesterday, I thought to myself as I watched him strip down to his waist. The 17-year-old youngster I was riding on the minibus with on the way here is not the same one next. See motion for one of the large men, KANX Park, to come in. That's what I always tell people after ruining a fine pair of panties, I thought. There's no way a 17-year-old should have that power after he had taken out a few more guys. I went in, was beaten for 3 minutes, left and came back. That day I just had 6 minutes with him, but the craziness inside of me, George. After taking some
and Mike's pace in the ring and his shirt off. His body, his physique was incredible. His biceps, his chest, his neck, incredible. I hadn't seen him stripped to the waist. Yeah. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, that's not the same 17-year-old boy I met yesterday. That's not the same 17-year-old boy I ran with this morning. That's not the same 17-year-old boy I sat next to on the minibus getting here. Yeah. Then Cuss pointed to one of the big men to get in. He was knocked spark out. I tell people, I say it all the time, I ruined a good pair of underpants at that moment in time. I shit myself. There's no way a 17-year-old should have that power. He knocked a couple more out. I got in, I got battered for 3 minutes, got out. A couple more, got in, then I was back in again. I'd done 6 minutes with him that day. But the madness in me, George, because I do believe fighters have to have a little bit of madness in them. Because I took some serious punishment off that man over 2 years. He made me cry so many times. But psychologically, I believed if I could take Mike Tyson's punishment, I could take anybody's punishment. Because he was such a power puncher. He used to speak to my mum on the phone regular. Oh, Mrs. Egan, chatting away, and she'd say to him, oh, Mike, thank you so much for looking after my son. But he was minding me as well. Even though he was battering me, he was minding me. I remember one time when Sugar Ray Leonard came to the gym. He came to the gym on 2 occasions while I was there. And Mike wanted to impress Ray Leonard because he was in awe of Sugar Ray Leonard, like a lot of fighters are.
Yeah. Heavy punishment from him over the course of 2 years, I do think that boxers need a little craziness. He made me weep a lot, but because he was such a powerful puncher, I reasoned that if I could take Mike Tyson's pain, I could take anybody's. When he would call my mother, oh, Mrs. Egan, chatting away, he would remark, oh Mike, thank you so much for looking after my son. But he was minding me as well when Sugar Fat came to the gym twice while I was there. Mike wanted to make an impression on Renard, who, like many boxers, had a lot of sugar in him. Yes, Mike gave a thorough beating to Shane Mosley and Roy Jones Jr. during their conversation about this day. Jones claimed that Tyson was the best boxer he had ever faced after their exhibition match on November 28, 2020, where Jones saw Tyson's renowned power up close even after years of retirement. Jones, who was renowned for his own dexterity and skill, was obviously impacted by it. Seemed like a monster had kicked me in the chest when Mike Tyson struck me for the first time.
Your tummy hurts still?
I feel a lot better now.
I love Mike, I respect him, but we're not friends anymore. Until November 15th, I'm knocking this out, and we're going to see who's dead. We will see who's dead. We will see who's dead, Mike. We will. We will. They'll never give me credit. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. If I was walking on water, they would say it's because I couldn't swim.
I'm gonna you up. Come up.
I know all of these things. He has one punch knockout power. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time. On November 15th, all the haters wrong. All of these YouTuber, hillbillies wrong.
Yeah.
At 55, he continues to be the strongest boxer I've ever faced in the ring. That was a long time ago. If he gives someone a shot like that to the chin, they will either fall to the ground or flee, especially if they are not accustomed to being hit that way. For example, these guys are bigger and can withstand it, but Jake Paul, it will be challenging, and I doubt he can manage that. We'll see. Do you think Mike Tyson was fully committed to you, or do you think he was more akin to a spawn session, fully committed to his body? It seems like they warned us about trying to take each other's heads off, but they finally stopped. As a result, you could hit someone in the head, but you could also hit someone in the body, and he was really hitting that body quite hard. When I last saw Jake, he was very huge, weighing between 20 and 30 pounds. He weighed 230 pounds, yes. He responded by saying he felt it was moving quickly, and I was like, damn you big mate, that can make it interesting then so. The prospect of Jake Paul taking on Mike Tyson has created a lot of excitement and anticipation among fans, even though there hasn't been an official fight announcement.
Again, no, because he's now old. And it would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair, you know? Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match. It's his rule set, and he was Mike Tyson. He would have beaten me, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable, and I'd feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the
The two have met in a variety of settings, such as podcasts and events, where talks about a possible fight have been hinted at. I love and respect Mike, but we're no longer friends until November 15th, when I'm knocking this out and we're going to see who's dead. I know all of these things. He has one punch knockout power on November 15th. All the haters and YouTuber hillbillies will be proven wrong. Mike, we will always fight for what's right. They'll never give me credit. That's the way it is. If I were walking on water, they would claim that's because I couldn't swim.
Thing that just really just separates him from the pack as boxers, not from fans.
I mean, just speed,
Yeah.
ferocity. If somebody's so fast that when you go to punch and they beat you to the punch, or it's dangerous. And he was just ferocious. I think a lot of times too, the fear factor going into a fight with a guy like that, nobody has seen a guy like that to that point. Here he not really fighting left-handed. He going both ways. You know what I'm saying? He was squaring up. He was doing things that you really it's hard to train for. So
Controversial online personality and former kickboxer Andrew Tate has voiced his opinions in answer to queries regarding whether or not to take on Mike Tyson once more, stating that it would be shameful to defeat Tyson in his final years. Tate has made it clear that competing against Tyson now, well after his peak, would not be fair and would not be as respectable as competing against Tyson during his heyday. It doesn't seem right Prime to take away an out-of-date version of his prime self. It would be a terrible, terrible shame. Mike Tyson has rules that would have permitted him to destroy me in a boxing match, therefore no amount of money in the world could convince me to fight him. It seems humiliating and repulsive to defeat someone who is past his prime, especially because he is Mike Tyson. Recent social media.
Mike Tyson is 57 years old. Honestly, I just think it's sad, bro. I don't know why Jake took it. It's a lose-lose. Everyone's gonna know him as the guy that knocked out on old Mike Tyson.
At his age, if you get hit by one solid Jake Paul punch,
prune juice.
you're prune juice.
It's Mike Tyson. anything can happen. Jake could literally walk out without an ear. Like, bro, he's...
The funny thing is, Evander Holyfield followed me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I said, nah.
Not enough ears?
No.
Posts featuring Mike Tyson in training have gained a lot of traction, demonstrating his remarkable speed, agility, and hitting power. Millions of people have watched these films, demonstrating that Tyson still has many of the physical characteristics required to perform at his best. Rising boxer Ryan Garcia has talked candidly about the potential Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson fight, praising it but also expressing reservations. What are your opinions on the Tyson fight that Jake recently announced? I think he's doing a great job. It sounds incredible __. Garcia also said that Paul is gutsy to step into the ring with a fighter of Tyson's skill and expertise, adding that even at nearly 60 years old, Tyson still possesses tremendous power.
Even Rampage Jackson says he doesn't think the knockouts look legit. Fans also claim it. Patty Pimblett, I don't know who the hell that is, but they said it as well. Basically, everyone's sentiment is if Jake Paul wins, he fixed the fight. Now, Jake has already been criticized a lot because he fights people who are UFC fighters instead of boxers. He brings people out of retirement. And honestly, just personally, when I watched the Floyd Mayweather fight, I felt like Floyd took it easy on him, and I've never felt that way watching any of his fights. Mayweather didn't even hold back against his own wife. The reason that Jake Paul's going to lose either way is because if he loses, obviously he lost, but if he wins, everyone's going to think this was fixed. I mean, I'm not just a Mike Tyson fan, I don't like Mike Tyson. But there's no denying that the man is an absolute beast and one of the best boxers of all time. And this just got sanctioned, and word on is that Jake criticized Mike's daughter who passed away. So Mike is the preferred choice. He also has the anger of Jake talking about this. He also says he wants to punish him for what he's done to boxing. And this is going to count on his fight record. I think he's going to absolutely go to town on him. And if Tyson doesn't beat him, then it will seem like it's fake. And I think another big reason people are wondering if this is real is because Logan's doing WWF right now. But honestly,